Hi, everyone. This is Ben Cohen from Key Scouts, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to this episode. Today, I want to talk about something I believe is a must-know for every marketing leader in 2025, multi-channel marketing. Now, as someone who's been in the digital marketing space for over 2 decades, I've seen trends come and go. But one thing that's remained consistent is that reaching the right audience at the right time requires more than just having a presence on a single platform. At Key Scouts, we've always focused on building organic growth strategies that elevate companies' online visibility and strengthen their brand presence. Let me share an interesting insight from our latest research. Companies that implement an effective multi-channel strategy see, on average, a 287% boost in performance compared to those sticking to a single channel. This isn't just a fancy number, it's a game changer. But here's the key. Success doesn't come from simply being active everywhere. It comes from creating a connected, purposeful experience across all your channels. Think about it. Your potential customers could find your company through Google search, follow you on LinkedIn, and subscribe to your email updates. Each of these interactions should feel cohesive, reinforcing your brand's value at every touchpoint. One common challenge I've noticed is the confusion between multi-channel and omni-channel marketing. Multi-channel means your channels work independently, each contributing to your overall strategy. This is where most B2B companies should start. Omni-channel, on the other hand, is about delivering a seamless, integrated experience across channels. But that's often too complex as a first step. At Key Scouts, we developed a framework for multi-channel success that centers on your website as your main hub. Around that, we strategically layer key channels. LinkedIn for professional engagement, content marketing for thought leadership, email for nurturing leads, and SEO to make sure your content is discoverable. Now, let's talk about what's new in 2025. AI and machine learning are transforming the marketing landscape. When integrated correctly, they can increase customer engagement by over 20%. But remember, technology should enhance your strategy, not replace the human element. One last thing I can't emphasize enough: consistency across all your channels is crucial. Whether someone finds you through a blog post, social media, or an industry event, your brand voice and message need to remain aligned. Consistency builds trust, and trust fuels sustainable growth. Let me share a quick story. We recently helped a B2B tech company that was struggling with fragmented marketing. By implementing a coordinated multi-channel strategy, focusing on organic growth through SEO, LinkedIn, and email marketing, they achieved a 90% improvement in customer retention and generated significantly more qualified leads. Before we dive into the next discussion, I want you to remember this. Multi-channel marketing isn't just about reaching more people. It's about reaching the right people in the right way, at the right time. For B2B companies, especially those operating internationally, this can make all the difference. If you want to learn more, stay tuned for the conversation with Bobby and Brenda, two incredible experts who will share additional insights and practical strategies. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or reach out through our website. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
All right, so today we are going to do a deep dive into multi-channel marketing.
Okay.
And we've got some really interesting sources for this.
Yeah.
A blend of sort of practical experience with some theoretical stuff.
Okay.
We've got a blog post from Key Scouts, which is a B2B digital marketing agency. And then we've also got some notes that I've been putting together for an upcoming panel discussion
Interesting.
on multi-channel marketing.
Yeah, it's like it's everywhere.
Right. It's a hot topic right now.
Multi-channel this, multi-channel that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's interesting to sort of have these two sources, one coming from an agency that's actually doing the work.
Right.
And then another, sort of compiling, more, I guess, a theoretical look at it.
Right, from thought leaders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they converge and where they diverge. But
yeah,
Key Scouts, it was founded and is led by Tomer Harrell, who has been in the digital marketing world for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So that's impressive.
He's seen some changes.
Yeah, right. He's seen it all. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not all theory, right? I mean, Key Scouts insights and these panel prep notes that I've been going through, they point to some pretty incredible potential results.
Right.
We're talking a possible 287% performance boost
Wow.
just from using the right mix of marketing channels.
That's a big number.
Yeah, it's huge, especially when you think about, in the B2B world,
Yeah.
where building those relationships and that trust is so important.
Yeah. Long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're talking about multi-channel marketing.
Yeah.
I think maybe a good place to start would be like just to define
Right.
what we mean. Like, what is it?
Yeah, good point. So,
In 2025, what does that actually mean?
yeah, multi-channel marketing is essentially using multiple platforms to reach your business customers.
Okay.
It's not just about, being on all the social media.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about.
It's not just having a presence on, every platform. It's more than that.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
more like you're conducting an orchestra.
Okay.
All the different, your website, your social media, your email, maybe even some traditional things like direct mail.
Yeah.
They all sort of play a part,
Okay.
and you got to make sure they're all working in harmony.
Like different instruments all playing together.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
So it's about meeting your audience where they are.
Right, because they're everywhere.
They are, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Just that constant
Always on.
checking emails, scrolling through social media, listening to podcasts.
Yeah, you've got to be present in a lot of different places
Right, yeah.
if you want to cut through all of that.
So how is this different from just marketing?
That's a good question. It's about being strategic.
Okay.
It's not just about posting on every single channel.
Yeah.
It's about creating an experience for your audience.
Right. So they come across you in different ways, but it's all part of a larger...
Right. It all connects. And you're guiding them towards a specific action.
So instead of them just stumbling on your brand,
Yeah.
you're kind of leading them down a path.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's where this 287% performance increase we're talking about,
Oh, yeah.
that comes into play.
Why?
Because there was a study by Marketing Evolution that found that campaigns using 3 or more channels
Oh, wow.
had that increase
That's a lot.
compared to single channel campaigns.
Wow. Okay. So it's strategic. It uses multiple platforms. It's got data to back it up.
Yep.
Okay. So what about omni-channel?
Oh.
I keep hearing that term.
I know. It's another one of those buzzwords.
Is it just a fancy way of saying multi-channel? Or is it actually different?
It is different. Okay.
Okay.
So think of multi-channel as the foundation.
Okay.
And then omni-channel is like the next level.
Okay.
So it takes that seamless experience across all channels even further.
Okay. Can you give me like a specific example of what that might look like?
Yeah. So imagine a customer, right? They're on their phone. They start browsing for something. Maybe they add it to their cart.
Yeah.
Later, they're on their laptop. They continue shopping.
Right.
They finalize the purchase.
Uh-huh.
Then they get a notification that they can pick it up at a store nearby,
Oh.
like within the hour.
Right.
So that's omni-channel.
So you're moving seamlessly.
You're moving between the channels.
But it's all...
It's all
okay.
connected,
Got it.
and it's personalized to you.
Right. That's pretty slick.
Yeah, so that's like the VIP omni-channel.
Gotcha.
So it's a step above.
But for a lot of B2B companies, just getting the multi-channel strategy off the ground can feel overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you even begin?
Right. Where do you start? Well, that's where the real work comes in.
Okay.
And that's where I think these insights from Key Scouts are so valuable.
Yeah.
It's about choosing the right mix
Okay.
of channels for your business,
Okay.
for your audience.
So there's not just one.
There's no one size fits all,
Right. Okay.
which can make it a little tricky.
Yeah. So what are we talking about here? Like, give me the lay of the land.
What kind of channels are out
Yeah.
there?
What are we looking at?
So on the digital side, you've got your website.
Okay.
That's like your home base.
I like that.
And then you've got SEO,
Right.
so that people can actually find your website.
Okay.
Then there's paid ads, for a more targeted reach.
Uh-huh.
LinkedIn is essential for B2B.
Right.
And then X, formerly Twitter, for quick updates and community engagement.
Right. I love that they call the website the home base.
Yeah,
It really is kind of like that central hub where everything comes together.
totally. Yeah.
So what else? What other channels are we looking at?
So then you've got content marketing.
Okay.
That's things like your blog posts,
Right.
white papers, webinars
Right.
that help establish thought leadership,
Right.
attract potential customers.
Okay.
Don't underestimate the power of a good blog post.
Yeah.
A well-researched white paper.
That-
I mean, it can really position your company as an expert
Yeah.
in your field.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and then there's email marketing.
Oh, yeah. Email marketing.
It might seem a little old school compared to social media,
Right.
but it's still so effective
Yeah, I think
for
so.
nurturing those leads,
Yeah.
building relationships,
Totally.
because you can deliver these personalized messages
Right.
directly to their inbox.
Right, too.
And if you combine it with marketing automation,
Yeah.
you can really streamline your efforts
Okay.
and get some good results.
Okay, so that covers a lot of the digital.
Right, the digital landscape.
But what about traditional marketing?
Oh, yeah, good question.
Like, does that still have a place?
Does direct mail still exist in 2025?
Right. I mean, who even gets mail anymore?
I know, but it can be surprisingly effective,
Okay.
especially in B2B,
Okay.
because sometimes it's hard to reach those decision makers.
Right.
Think about how many emails a CEO gets in a day.
Ugh, I don't even want to think about it.
Probably hundreds.
Yeah.
But a direct mail piece,
Yeah.
it can cut through all of that.
Oh.
It can land right on their desk.
Right, so it's almost like the novelty of it.
Yes,
It stands out.
exactly.
Okay, and then what about trade shows?
Trade shows.
Are those still a thing?
They are.
Okay.
For certain industries
Okay.
where face-to-face is still really important.
Makes sense.
You can demo your product network, build those connections
Yeah.
that are so important.
Okay, so we've got a pretty good overview, I think, of the different channels.
Yeah, a lot of options.
But what are the benefits of actually going multi-channel?
Okay, that's the big question.
Like, is it really worth all the effort?
Yeah,
I mean, we've talked about the challenges, but
right. And it's not easy.
yeah, so why do it?
It goes beyond just visibility.
Okay.
It's about building those relationships.
Okay, give me some of the highlights.
So for one, it really expands your reach. Using a mix of online and offline,
Yeah.
you're casting a wider net,
Right.
reaching people who might not have found you otherwise.
So it's all about maximizing your chances of,
Getting in front of the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, but it's not just about reaching more people.
Right.
It's about building,
Stronger relationships.
right, how so?
So when you provide valuable information,
Yeah.
connect with people across multiple touch points,
Uh-huh.
you become a trusted resource.
Right.
You're not just selling them something.
Yeah, you're giving them something.
You're building a relationship.
Right, so it's about being a partner,
Exactly.
not just a vendor.
Yeah, and that trust.
Yeah.
It translates into loyalty,
Right.
repeat business,
Right.
and ultimately higher customer lifetime value.
It makes sense.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, but it's got to be challenging, right?
Oh, yeah.
To manage all these channels.
It's not easy.
And make it all feel like
It's a lot of work
one cohesive experience.
to keep it all consistent.
Right.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the hurdles that businesses face when they're trying to implement
When they're trying to do
this multi-channel strategy?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest ones is resources.
Yeah.
Time, budget, personnel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It can be tough,
Right, especially for smaller businesses.
especially for smaller businesses.
Yeah.
It can feel like you're constantly playing catch up.
Right. It's not just about posting on social media.
It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
You've got to create the content,
Right.
track the results, analyze data,
Right.
refine your approach.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And then staying consistent.
Oh, consistency.
Right.
That's huge.
It's got to be hard.
It can be really tough.
You want the branding.
You want everything.
Yeah.
The messaging, the tone of voice.
Yeah.
All of it.
To be consistent.
Consistent across all the channels.
Right. So you don't seem,
You don't want to be fragmented.
yeah, you don't want to seem like you're,
You want it to be one brand.
right, like 12 different companies.
Exactly. You want to be recognizable.
Right. Yeah.
And then there's the challenge of audience fatigue.
Oh, yeah.
If you're bombarding them with the same message everywhere,
Right. They're going to tune you out.
they're going to get sick of you.
Right.
So you've got to find that balance.
Right. So you got to be present,
Yeah.
but you don't want to be annoying.
You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah. There's a fine line there.
It's a fine line.
Okay. Well, this has been really insightful so far.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface.
But I'm eager to kind of hear more about, how to actually build
Yeah, how do we actually do this?
a winning strategy.
The million-dollar question.
Right. I mean, we've talked about the challenges.
Right, the
but
hurdle.
What are the keys to success?
Yeah, what should people be focusing on?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think one that we'll definitely explore in the next part of our deep dive.
All right.
But before we move on, is there anything that's kind of standing out to you so far?
Yeah, I think for me, what's really resonating is that idea of, multi-channel marketing as a way to build relationships.
Ah, I like that.
It's not just about blasting out messages. It's about making connections.
Right, being genuine.
Being genuine, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and that ultimately leads to long-term business success.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's about shifting from that transactional mindset
Right.
to a relationship building mindset.
I like that.
And I think that's what makes multi-channel marketing so powerful.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all about the relationships.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be unpacking,
We'll get into the nitty-gritty.
the key steps to building that winning strategy,
Right.
and we'll look at some real-world examples, too.
Sounds good.
So don't go anywhere.
Stay tuned. Okay, so we kind of laid the groundwork, right? We get why multi-channel marketing is so important,
Right, yeah, the why.
especially for B2B.
Absolutely.
But now let's get into the how.
Okay, yeah, how do we actually do this?
Right. How do we build a strategy that works?
Yeah, that's the question.
That gets results.
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
But luckily, our friends at Key Scouts,
Yes.
led by Tomer Harrell, the digital marketing veteran,
Yeah.
they have some really great advice.
Okay.
In their blog post, they highlight 3 key steps.
Right. I'm ready.
So, knowing your customer,
Okay.
choosing the right platforms,
Okay.
and maintaining consistency.
Okay. I like how they put knowing your customer first.
Right.
It seems obvious, but
Yeah, I think a lot of companies skip that step.
I think so too. They want to jump into the tactics,
Right.
but they don't really know who they're talking to.
Right. Yeah, they're just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks,
Exactly.
which is not a strategy.
That's a good one.
Right. And they actually phrase it as deeply understand your ideal customer profile.
I like that. Yeah.
So it's not just about, basic demographics.
Right.
It's really getting into,
What makes them tick?
like what are their pain points? What are they struggling with? What are their goals?
Yeah. What keeps them up at night?
Right. Exactly.
What are they hoping to achieve?
And once you have that clear picture, then you can start.
Then you can tailor your message and choose the channels that will actually resonate with them.
Okay. So for example, if you're trying to reach, let's say, a tech savvy millennial CEO,
Okay. Yeah.
you're probably going to focus on platforms like
LinkedIn, right?
LinkedIn,
X.
where they're hanging out.
Exactly where they're spending their time.
Yeah, you wouldn't waste your time on, Facebook maybe.
Right. Or like print advertising.
Yeah, exactly. It's about being strategic,
Right.
maximizing your impact.
Okay. So the Key Scouts blog actually cautions against
What do they say?
spreading yourself too thin,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
which I think is a trap that a lot of businesses fall into.
Especially when they're starting out.
Yeah.
They feel like they need to be everywhere.
Right. And it's that fear of missing out, right?
Yeah, the FOMO. But it's actually better to,
Focus your efforts on
yeah.
the platforms where your ideal customers are.
right, where they're actually engaged.
Yeah. Where they're paying attention.
Okay, so step 1, know your customer.
Got it.
Step 2, choose the right platforms.
Okay. What's step 3?
Maintain consistency.
Okay. Consistency.
Yeah, and this is so important for creating that seamless brand experience.
I think a good way to think about it is like every interaction a customer has with your brand.
Yeah,
It's like a brushstroke on a canvas.
I like that.
And you want all those brushstrokes to work together
Right.
to create a beautiful, coherent picture.
So if your branding is different on your website
Yeah.
than it is on social media.
Or your tone of voice changes from email to direct mail.
Yeah, it creates this weird,
It's jarring.
jarring experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's like a puzzle
Okay.
where all the pieces are supposed to fit together,
Yeah.
but if some of the pieces are missing or they don't quite match,
It's frustrating.
it's confusing, yeah.
You can't see the full picture.
Right,
And consistency builds trust.
right.
It makes your brand more memorable.
Okay, the Key Scouts blog actually quotes Tomer Harrell on this.
Oh, what does he say?
He says, consistency isn't just about aesthetics. It's about aligning your message, your values, and your customer experience across every touch point,
That's good.
right?
I like that.
That's about the whole package.
It's everything.
Yeah,
So you need to know who you are as a brand,
right.
what you stand for,
Right.
and what message you want to convey.
Yeah, before you even start thinking about,
Before you do any marketing,
multi-channel
you
marketing.
got to have that foundation.
Right, okay, so we've got those 3 steps.
3 steps.
Know your customer,
Yeah.
choose the right platforms,
Check.
maintain consistency.
Check.
But this all sounds like a lot to manage.
Yeah. It's a lot to juggle.
So are there any tools,
Any help out there?
any resources that can help businesses, handle all this?
There are. Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Marketing automation.
Okay, marketing
A
automation.
mouthful.
I always get a little intimidated by that term, to be honest.
I know it sounds complicated,
Yeah?
but it's actually really helpful.
Okay.
Think of it like your sidekick.
Okay,
It helps you automate those repetitive tasks,
okay.
personalize your communications,
Uh,
track your results.
Okay, so instead of me, manually sending out emails,
You have the spreadsheets.
spreadsheets, Yeah, I could use a platform to like streamline that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Platforms like Marketo,
Okay.
HubSpot, Keyscouts mentions these in their blog posts.
Yeah.
And they let you create those automated email sequences,
Okay.
personalize your website content, track how people are interacting with your brand.
Okay, so I'm not just automating tasks. I'm also getting information
You're getting data.
that can help me improve.
Yeah, insights.
Okay.
You can see what's working,
Right.
what's not working.
What needs to be tweaked?
Make adjustments.
Okay, data-driven decisions.
It's essential.
All right, so we've got the steps.
Yes.
We've got the tools.
What's tool?
Let's get real here.
Let's see it in action.
Yeah, can we look at some real-world examples?
Let's do it.
I think it would really help kind of bring this all to life.
I agree. Let's dive into those case studies.
Yeah, from the panel discussion prep.
Yeah, you had some good ones.
I did, yeah.
The first one, launching a SaaS CRM platform.
Okay. Yeah, that's something a lot of B2B companies can probably relate to.
Definitely. So let's imagine we're a startup.
Okay.
We've got this great new CRM,
Awesome.
but we need to get the word out.
Right, we got to get people using it.
We need leads.
Yes, leads.
Where do we start?
Well, following Key Scout's advice,
Yes.
we would start by,
defining our customer.
right, who are we trying to reach with this CRM?
Exactly. Who are we talking to?
So let's say we're targeting sales teams
Okay.
at small and medium-sized businesses
Okay. Makes sense.
who are struggling to manage their leads, track their pipeline.
They're overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They need help.
Yeah, lots of admin work.
Yeah, and our CRM is the solution.
Okay, perfect. So we know our target audience.
You know who we're talking to.
Now, how do we choose the right channels to reach them?
Okay, so we know that our target audience, sales teams, they're probably on LinkedIn.
Right, yeah.
It's the go-to for professional networking.
Right.
So we need a strong presence there.
Okay, and what about content marketing? What kind of content would resonate with these sales teams?
Okay, so we could create blog posts, articles,
Okay.
offering tips for improving sales productivity.
Okay, yeah, actionable stuff.
Actionable, yeah.
Give them some value.
How to manage a sales pipeline,
Okay,
close more deals.
yeah.
We could even create ebooks, white papers that go more in depth into sales trends, best practices.
Really position ourselves as experts.
Yeah, thought leaders.
Okay, but how do we promote that content? How do we get it in front of the right people?
So LinkedIn is great for that.
Yeah.
We can share that content, target specific job titles,
Right.
industries.
Okay.
We could even use paid advertising on LinkedIn
Okay.
to reach a wider audience, generate leads.
And then email marketing would be a great way to nurture those leads.
Exactly. Keep them engaged.
Keep them warm.
Yeah, we can create those automated email sequences,
Yeah.
deliver a series of valuable content pieces,
Yep.
case studies, maybe even invite them to a webinar.
A free webinar.
Yeah.
Product demo.
So exactly.
So we're using LinkedIn, content marketing, and email
Yep.
to create this cohesive experience,
Yeah, we're guiding them
guiding them through the funnel.
through the sales funnel.
Yeah.
And hopefully converting them into paying customers.
And we're gathering data along the way.
Oh, yeah, always.
Right. So we can
Analyze, adjust.
tweak our approach.
It's a continuous process.
Okay, that's a great example
It is.
of how a multi-channel strategy can work.
For sauce.
Yeah. But what about a different industry?
Okay, let's look at that second case study.
Yeah, the cybersecurity company.
That's a good one.
Building brand awareness.
Yeah, a different objective.
Yeah, totally different.
So it's not about generating leads right away.
Right.
It's about building trust.
Yeah, establishing themselves as a leader.
Thought leadership
Right.
in the cybersecurity space.
Okay, so how would we approach this one?
So one of the most effective ways to build that awareness and thought leadership is through PR.
Okay, PR. So getting featured in publications, news outlets.
Exactly. Pitching stories to journalists, offering expert commentary,
Right.
getting your name out there.
As a trusted source.
Yeah, the go-to source for cybersecurity.
Okay, and content marketing would be a big part of this too, right?
Huge, yeah.
So what kind of content are we creating?
We're talking in-depth blog posts,
Okay.
white papers, reports
Yeah.
that provide insights into emerging threats,
Okay.
best practices, regulatory changes,
So again, providing value,
always
demonstrating expertise.
building trust.
Okay. And what about social media?
Social media is crucial for cybersecurity.
Okay.
Platforms like X, formerly Twitter,
Yeah.
can be used to share breaking news,
Good.
engage with influencers,
Uh-huh.
participate in conversations,
So it's all about being present.
staying top of mind.
Right.
And then events and conferences are also really valuable
Okay.
for cybersecurity.
To make those connections.
Face-to-face,
Okay.
build relationships.
So we're using PR, content marketing, social media, and event
The whole shebang.
to build brand awareness
Yep.
for this cybersecurity company.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's a very different approach from the SaaS example,
It is.
but the underlying principles
Are the same.
are the same.
Oh, you're a customer.
Choose the right platforms.
Maintain consistency.
Use data to make decisions.
Data is key.
Okay, these examples have been super helpful.
I'm glad.
But before we move on,
Yeah.
is there anything specific that stood out to you about how these companies are using multi-channel marketing?
What's interesting to me is how they're adapting the strategy, right?
Yeah.
The SaaS company focused on lead generation,
Right.
sales,
Right.
cybersecurity company, brand awareness,
Leadership.
thought leadership.
Yeah.
So it shows that there's no one size fits all.
Right, you got to tailor it
You got to tailor it
to your goals.
to your audience.
And your audience.
And it's not just about choosing the right channels.
Right.
It's about using them in a way
Yeah.
that creates a good experience for your audience.
A seamless experience.
Engaging.
Well said. But before we get too deep into that,
Yeah.
let's take a quick pause.
Right?
We'll be right back to explore how those experiences are shaping the future of marketing
Ooh, the future.
and what you can do to stay ahead of the curve.
I like it.
All right. So we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into multi-channel marketing. We've covered a lot of ground from the basics to some really interesting real-world examples.
Yeah, we've seen how companies like Key Scouts, led by Tomer Harrell, are really kind of pushing the limits of what's possible with this approach.
Absolutely. But before we sign off, I want to touch on something we briefly mentioned earlier, the future of multi-channel marketing. It feels like with all the advancements in technology, things are changing so quickly.
Yeah, the landscape is constantly evolving.
So what's on the horizon? What should we be paying attention to?
Well, we're seeing some really exciting developments in AI, augmented reality, virtual reality. They're opening up a lot of new possibilities for marketers.
I can see AI being used to, personalize those marketing messages, like tailoring email content to each subscriber based on their past behavior or something.
Exactly. And at scale, AI can analyze these huge amounts of data, right? And identify patterns that we as humans just can't see.
That's amazing.
It is. It allows marketers to create these like hyper-personalized experiences, way more effective than those old mass marketing techniques.
Wow. And what about AR and VR? I mean, those are often associated with gaming and things, but I could see how they could be applied to marketing.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine a furniture company using AR to let customers visualize how furniture would look in their home
Oh, that's cool.
before they buy it. Or a travel company using VR to give potential travelers a 360-degree tour of a destination.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, the possibilities are really endless.
It sounds like these technologies could totally change how brands interact with their customers.
Yeah, but we also need to be mindful of, the ethical implications. We can't just chase the shiny new object
Right.
without thinking about the potential downsides.
So data privacy, security, those are all super important considerations.
Absolutely, especially as marketers get access to more and more data about their customers. We have a responsibility to use it ethically and transparently.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's not just about embracing those technologies, it's about doing it responsibly.
Right, and building trust with your audience.
So thinking back to those real-world examples we talked about, anything stand out to you about how they were approaching things?
Well, I was really impressed with how they were choosing that channel mix, right? Based on their objectives and their audience. The SaaS company, they knew their audience was mostly on digital channels.
LinkedIn, email, yeah.
So they focused on those.
And the cybersecurity company, they also use digital, but they incorporated PR, industry events. They wanted to reach a more executive-level audience.
Right. So it really shows you can't just use a cookie cutter approach. You have to think critically about which channels will be most effective for your business.
That's a great point. It's not about doing what everyone else is doing. It's about being strategic.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. Don't be afraid to experiment. Find what works best for your business. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Embrace the challenge, stay curious, and keep learning.
And remember, there are companies like Key Scouts, leaders like Tomer Harrell who are paving the way. There's a lot of support and resources available.
That's right. So that's it for today's deep dive. We hope you found it informative and inspiring. Until next time, happy marketing.
That's all for today's podcast. We explored the evolution of multi-channel marketing with a focus on strategic coordination and consistent messaging to enhance performance and customer retention. Key takeaways include the importance of understanding your audience, selecting the right platforms, and integrating technologies like AI and data analytics. Thanks for tuning in to B2B Growth Insights. This is Ben Cohen. Remember, in B2B marketing, data drives decisions and content powers connections. Until next time.